to say is that I will climb a mountain to get to your business. If you have something I want to get there for. If you got food, I'll go to your restaurant daily. I'll go around the back. I'll go wherever I can go when we get to your business to go have dinner or lunch. Come.
So, ma'am, you want to pause that? And you're Miss Beltran?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, we do only allow one person at a time up there. So you're Miss.
I was Lola. She's Zadia.
Zadia? Okay. You have 2 minutes.
Go either direction. The other thing that it does is it connects the rail runner from one way down to a little ways further. Another disaster, the rail runner. Go either direction. Listen to your tail trap down central if you can move and adjust with the nails. And I'm not going to tell you that's the way it is right now. Go either direction. This is this project doesn't scare me off just as much as the attitude some of the. Are you business? I am.
Any questions?
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment. I did not hire an actor. But thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Dinah Vargas, followed by Stella Padilla, followed by Tannenbaum.
So the sound on the video isn't so important as much as Counselor Dan Lewis is important, and he's located behind this bigger guy with the hat, holding up the sign Trump, sort of in the middle of the screen to the right of Trump. And so Councilor Lewis, Presidente Lewis came out and said how violent the protesters and all this was. But what I see are acts of violence against those protesters, regardless of what side you're on, Trump or otherwise. What you said was a complete conflict with actual reality, like you divorced reality in your statement, and you used your official position to do it. It's offensive. You know, I was here before this was United States of America. I've always been an American, always. Come from a long line of family members. I've been here since this was New Mexico territory. And we rode here in conquest in search of God, glory, and gold. Cut the feet of Indians off too. I'm not saying that I agree with that, but we came in conquest. We didn't jump no border, didn't have no anchor babies, didn't wash no floors other than our own, and we didn't pick any goddamn lettuce. And I haven't been called a Mexican more times than I have since that man running for president. Period. It's offensive. So my youngest family member, she likely gonna identify as Indian because she looks Indian. And I had to explain to her that though you are small, you are brave. And along with having to learn all these other aspects of, you know, regular development, going to school, having friends or whatever, when someone says your skin is dirty, or you a lazy Indian, or you a drunk Indian, I have to teach her these rules of engagement to counter it, in spite of us already being here. It's offensive. It's offensive. It's offensive. Because I gotta keep telling my kids why someone's saying their skin's dirty. So what do you suggest I tell them? Presidente. ¿Qué quieres? ¿Qué queremos? ¿Qué queremos? Justicia. ¿Cuándo? Ahora.
Stella Padilla, followed by Art Tannenbaum, followed by Don Schrader.
Thank you, President and Council. My name is Stella Padilla. I just have one thing to say about the art project, which is very controversial. As we all know, we all hate it. Everybody hates it except for a few select. This is still the appeals. The appeal is still the state, the district court, the 10th district court, and assuming we get at least the 50 million, because we've already been cut down from the 69 to 50. Assuming we get even the 50 million, where's the rest of that money going to come from? The other 19 million that the federal government already cut us from. Could I ask you, Ken, where it's going to come from?
Well, we're hoping that the money still does come from the federal government, and basically that's what's been, I know that Councilor Benton has talked to Senator Heinrich, and they're hoping to get the entire $69 million in this year's appropriation.
Well, there's a lot of things going on within the whole city council, the whole government, the whole country, but I'm talking about the city council in Albuquerque. We're very disappointed by all of your vote on the art. It's not surprising to me that Ken and Trudy, you guys sit on the board for the water department, which is like already sounds too, this political system here is really corrupt. It's corrupt, and we're sick of it. We're sick and tired of it. And this thing about the paid actor, whatever it was, I think it was a paid actor. He looked at you for help so many times as he looked away. You know, he didn't know what he was talking about. He was not a business owner. What I'm trying to say, this system is corrupt. None of you are doing your job to satisfy your constituents. All of you are turning your back on this. It's election time, you guys. It's election time. And our vote is golden. Our vote depends if you still sit here. Or if you even run for mayor, you're running for mayor, right? Well, you know, it's golden. And we're tired of it. We're tired of this whole situation. Things are going to change around here.
Next is
Mr. President, I don't have a question. I do have a comment.
Yes,
regarding the Albuquerque-Bernalillo County Water Utility Authority. They are working on lines along the central corridor. Some of those lines are 50 to 70 years old. That will be beneficial to the businesses along that corridor because those lines were starting to give out, and the Albuquerque-Bernalillo Water Utility Authority and the ratepayers of this community are making that investment back into the community. I didn't ask for a response. I had a comment.
Next is Art Tannenbaum, followed by Don
I totally
Schrader.
agree that they need to be replaced. They did need to be replaced before the art
Next
project.
is Art Tannenbaum, Don Schrader, then 10 minutes.
My name is Arthur Tannenbaum. I'm a United States citizen, and without objection, I yield the balance of my time to Dinah Vargas.
Gracias, mi amigo.
You can-
My name is Dinah Vargas, and I'm a lifelong resident of the city of Albuquerque and the great city of New Mexico. And time and time again, they bang Danielle with complete contradiction of his own rules, because that's a prop. It's a prop in your hand. It's a prop. They're not allowed. They're not allowed in the chambers. This is where security comes in, because this is what democracy looks like. And so we born free, and this is what freedom looks like. Everyone look. Excuse me, but you're interrupting my time, violating my right. This man just gave me his 2 minutes.
I've given you a warning.
How you going to escort me out? You got the power of arrest. He got the power of arrest. You're going to sit there and see this breakdown, knowing that I've worked for you all for free. I've contributed, and not a single person will say anything. Well, then you're going to have to escort me out, then I guess. That's just the way it's going to go, right? How are you going to take me? Oh, he's going to push my elbow like that?
You are welcome to
No, but you have a prop. Somebody once said that the freedom illusion, the illusion of freedom will continue for as long as it is profitable to continue that illusion. And when that illusion becomes too inexpensive to maintain, they will pull back the curtains and they will move the tables and chairs and props out of the way. And you will see a brick wall at the back of the theater. Yeah. But it's okay that he did what he did, and not a single person's gonna object. My representatives, you're obligated to represent me. Obligated. And not a single word.
All right, we're gonna go on to the next
In spite of you being a fraud.
The next speaker.
You're a fraud.
Yeah, you're welcome to call me and we can get together anytime.
But you were on a national platform when you make those comments.
Absolutely, the whole public can see that.
I will leave that way because that's where my stuff is at. So if you move out of my way, I will leave.
Is Don Schrader, followed by Pam Nemitsky, and then followed by Geraldine Amado.
Point of information, Mr. Chairman. Why am I unable to yield my time? That has nothing to do.
If you'd like to finish your time, you can do the whole rest of the 2 minutes if you want.
No, I'm asking for a point of information, a point of order. Why was it determined with some reluctance that I was not able to yield my time? People yield their time all the time, Mr. Lewis. Why did you make that decision? That is not consistent with the standard.
So Ms. Tannenbaum, if you want to continue with your 2 minutes, you're welcome to do that. If not, we're going to go on to the next speaker.
I insist on a point of order, a point of information.
You can't do a point of order. I mean, a point of order would be something for the
Explain yourself, please. Why did you make a big issue out of me yielding my time? Please explain yourself.
We're going to move on. If you want to continue the rest of your comments, you're welcome to.
Don't you believe you owe me and the public an explanation, counsel?
Yeah, I'm going to defer to our staff then.
Mr. Chairman?
We'll talk about
Okay, well, let's talk about it publicly. I need a point of order.
We'll talk about the rule regarding specifically, giving your time to somebody else.
Well, how does it work?
I don't know if Ms. Amanda is going to comment on that or.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion for a recess for 10 minutes.
Oh, we're going to recess for 10 minutes.
What's that? Not talking to you, man. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing right now. Oh gosh.
It is the practice, it's been the practice of the council for a good while now that people that are making general public comment have 2 minutes, and those rules were explained at the beginning of the meeting. And the practice is that we've not allowed your time to be given to other people. And so, that's been our practice. If any other councilors want to clarify that or want to comment on that, you're welcome to. And certainly our city attorney and our attorney is welcome to comment on it also. Would you like to, Mr. Willard?
Sure, Mr. President. The council rules do require the establishment of time limitations for speakers. And, consistent with what you just stated, it has been a historical approach to not allow time transfers. And I think that's why, for example, today when the video was played, and there's two speakers back to back, and they sort of combined the time that way, but it wasn't a yielding of extra time to one speaker for that message. And I think that's been one way that it's been done as far as subsequent speakers as opposed to yielding time. But yeah, the practice has been not to yield time.
Okay. And, obviously we're going to do all we can to make sure that everybody gets fair and equal amount of time. We're going to make sure that we're following our guidelines, our rules, and the purpose of those rules are to make sure that everybody is heard and has a chance, regardless of whatever you might say in general public comment. We want to give people that opportunity to be able to do that in a fair way. So, any other councilors? Councilor Ben?
But I was, trying to recollect, but it seemed to me that it's, as you said, it's been the practice for some time. And I just want to make clear that as I understand too, that the president in this kind of matter where the rules are silent, the president can make such a determination. Isn't that correct?
Mr. President, Councilor, that's correct. The rules specifically authorize the president to make determinations like that when the rules are silent within the discretion of the president.
Councilor Harris.
I have a very clear memory of this because I was actually council president. I was council president in 2010, and that's when the policy kind of, or the practice of what was being accepted for a while, people donating their time to other speakers was getting out of hand. And someone would come up and say, I donate my time, I donate my time. And then someone would stand there for 15 minutes sometimes because people would donate their time. And as council president, that's saying we're going to interpret these rules that if somebody has 2 minutes to speak and that individual has 2 minutes, they can donate their time to someone else. What we do allow is that you can have 5 people who each, when they want to have a 10-minute statement, they just have to come up one at a time and complete the next 2 minutes of that statement. And we do allow that, because that is the one person who is using the 2 minutes. But what you cannot do is circumvent, which is what it is. It's not clarification, it's not clear in the rules, it's not even implied in the rules. You can circumvent our rules by allowing somebody to have 2 minutes, and then right after that, have someone jump up and say, I donate my time to this person. And then someone would then jump up and say, I don't have time to that person who also wants to continue speaking. That would actually be, I think, a bad interpretation of our rules. I think the rule would have been interpreted correctly by the city council for the last 6 to 7 years, and we should continue.
And we want to get the rules right. We want to get these things right. If we don't get them right, I'm perfectly willing to say we got it wrong, and we'll change that, correct that, do it differently next time. But that's the goal, is to get it right. Ms. Vargas, when there comes a point when we can always have a discussion, there comes a point where it's something that's disruptive, and then we follow the rules that we've laid out regarding disruptions to this council. And so the goal is to follow these procedures. Councilor Ben?
Well, and just to elucidate a little bit more of why we have the rules, right? We do have an agenda to get to every meeting, and we've chosen through our rules to listen to general public comment on any matter, various matters of interest to the city. But we also have a duty to get our work done. And so there is a limitation on the time, and a lot of people don't like it, that it's only 2 minutes, but we've got to set some limits on the time so that we can do the rest of the agenda. And you can go to all sorts of other public bodies where there is no general public comment. And so we not only have general public comment, but free public comment on the various bills that we're hearing during the evening. So I'm always interested in what people have to say in general public comment. But there's, of course, we say that it's X minutes per person, 2 minutes per person, not to be yielding and this and that of time, and really in this case creating a disruption. makes it very hard for us to do our work.
Polakowski, followed by Camille, is what it is, and then Samantha Hunt.
Council President, Council, I'd like to thank Council Harris for explaining the new rules which were implemented in 2010. Many people did that, I believe, because they weren't articulate enough to put across what they had to say in 2 minutes. We had a public access station which allowed live programming and access to the public. People were given 58 minutes a week of public programming, where even councilors and politicians were cordially invited to explain things on TV in front of an audience that the public could watch. I think this 2 minutes is very frustrating to the average person. Not all of us are trained in rhetoric, as attorneys, lawyers, and it is very difficult for us to remain composed in front of a live audience. So if we had a real public access station, maybe there would be more discussion and less argument, and council could be cordially invited to explain issues in a cordial atmosphere. But unfortunately, this does not exist at the moment. It has not existed for at least 3 years. I've been coming here and I've noticed when this wall was built, when people were not allowed to stand up here together as a group to show that there was more than one person that felt this way. So this is very frustrating. Also, listening to Mr. Reardon this evening, begging council for $75,000. Why doesn't he have Mr. Shepard, head of his security, whisper sweet nothings into his ear, and he can sue Mr. Shepard? He'll have at least $200,000 to put in his pocket. Why does he have to go through council in order to get funding? Last time I was here, I was issued a lesson in morality by Mr. Perry. Thank you.
All right, next is Camille, that is, followed by Samantha Hunt.
It is a world war, and we're losing. Every week, the enemy destroys another 22,000 square miles of Arctic ice. In the past 2 months, the war has forced the evacuation of a city of 90,000 in Canada, forced Southern Africans to literally eat their seed corn, and threatened the priceless repository of art in the Louvre. The enemy has even employed biological weapons in the form of the Zika virus. World War III, he says, is well underway, and we're losing. And the question is, will we fight back? We know what it's going to take to win this war. We need to move quickly to convert our economy to 90% clean power by 2030, 100% by mid-century. It's a tall order, but we've done it before when threatened with global destruction. So later this evening, or later this month, when you're considering the 25% solar bill, please keep the real stakes of this issue in mind. In the last World War, our economy and society was mobilized to win. We need to do it again. We can do it again.
Thank you, sir.
We might not win, but we surely won't if we don't try.
Next is Willard Hunter, the last speaker.
Good evening, City Councilor. My name is Willard Hunter. I want to emphasize a point that was made earlier this evening. That is, the council president, with council consent, has the authority, in fact, I would suggest the responsibility to appoint people to the Cable Franchise and Hearing Board. You need to exercise that authority. And I've got a copy of the documentation if you are interested in seeing that. The second thing is this board needs to be functioning. There are several important responsibilities of the board, and one of the key ones is that it needs to provide public input into the negotiations that are coming up with Comcast in the next couple of years. The legal department needs the input of the city of the Cable Franchise and Hearing Board. I understand the mandate of the hearing board is being rewritten and its authority needs to be increased, not decreased. I understand on the agenda tonight is the approval of Brian White to the Cable Franchise and Hearing Board, and he is the city representative, the mayor's representative. This council needs to appoint a representative of its own, and Rosemary Sanchez has never been replaced. Rosemary Sanchez has never been replaced, and she, as far as the regulations say, she is still a duly appointed member of the Cable Franchise and Hearing Board. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our public comment. We're going to take our break.
Mr. President, Mr. Hunter, you said, is it my understanding you've applied for that board as well sometime recently, is that correct?
Yes, I've gone through the proper paperwork with the mayor's office.
Mr. Berry, if I could, just as a matter of courtesy, if I could ask, it is something we hear a lot about, and I know this is an issue you and I talked about earlier today. If there's anything your office can do to help us put the appointments to this board sort of on top of the list as you're doing your due diligence, we would appreciate that. I think it's something out of public respect. So thank you so much.
Councilor Sanchez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I know our Boy Scouts tonight will get a merit badge. They also deserve a gold medal.
We'll take a break. We'll be back about 7:40.